Hello, my name is Kerrioth, and today we are going to take a look at some fancy miniatures from MiniWarGaming. Yes, you did hear that correctly. MiniWarGaming has their own line of miniatures now. MiniWarGaming Dave and Lazy Squire Games have been absurdly busy. There's like 130 models or something at this point as part of this crowdfunding campaign on GameFound, which is Ravaged Star, Armies of the Veil Touched. You can probably take a random stab in the dark, a wild guess as to what this might be in terms of, for instance, proxies for popular other games that exist that you yourself might play, which in the introduction video was very artfully skirted around. I thought that was very well done, Dave. But yeah, there's some really nice stuff here. Genuinely, there's a lot of models to get through, okay? There's a load of them. The campaign, I believe, funded immediately, so that's good, and it's just like more stuff is unlocking, more stretch goals are happening. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff to look at. I do have one myself. I've got a little preview lad that I was sent that we're going to paint on stream this week, so that'll be a lot of fun. Yeah, he looks awesome, by the way. Worth pointing out, this lad is resin. This lad's resin. This is, I believe, a prototype. However, the finished ones are plastic, so fulfills all the criteria in terms of feeding the addiction, because it's plastic models as you might be used to from other systems. Yeah, let's just take a look. Let's just take a look, because there's so much to get through. It's unreal. So here we go. The Veil Touched. As you can see, Lord Davicus and his army were tasked with exploring the other side of the Veil, an enigmatic shimmering wall on the edge of the known universe. After 3 weeks of communication silence, they were declared dead and their mission shelved. 60 years later, Davicus and his men emerged from the Veil alive, but forever changed. An alien corruption pulsated within their hearts, bending their will to a new master. To be honest, I especially like this kind of interpretation of various sci-fi tropes, because it just feels like a severe clash, like a proper clash of The Shimmer from Annihilation, which is a film I love, and Event Horizon, which is a film I love. So really, I can't complain about the background for this. I'm also loving Lord Davicus, by the way. Self-referential is always the best way to go with this stuff. So as always, there's a bunch of pledges you can do. The Azalea Unleashed pledge is massive. I mean, there's so much plastic in those boxes, it's unreal. Of course, you've got two separate price points. You've got the one for now, and then you've got like the retail version. So when it comes to this kind of thing, generally speaking, picking it up as soon as possible is the best way to do it, because otherwise you end up paying more. Like, it's cheaper to get it through the Kickstarter version for a lot of this sort of thing, and this is no different. So you've got the various war packs. It's worth pointing out as well, as we go through, just keep in mind the cost of, say, equivalent models from other manufacturers. Given that these are, they are, like, ideally proxies for another game, you want to consider the fact that, say, for instance, you're going for the Veil Touched War Pack. $119, right? Within this pack, there's Lord Davicus, there's 12 Executioners, 12 Veil Touched Enforcers, 12 Azalian Marauders, 12 Veil Touched Valkyries, and 6 Reborn. That's quite a lot of plastic in there, right? There's a fair amount going on. I mean, we've got, 48, 54, 55 models in there? Some very quick maths. If that's correct, I'll be amazed, because I'm terrible at maths. But there's quite a lot going on. There's a decent chunk in there. Now, if you compare that $119 to, for instance, buying, I don't know, just for example, 2 boxes of Chaos Space Marines, there's a significant difference in terms of what you're getting contents-wise, like when it comes to a numbers game, basically. As for the models themselves, though, we've got Lord Davicus, the Afflicted. I'm just loving it every time. I'm going to say it every single time. And some Berserker-style power-armoured chaps, shall we say. I mean, corn berserkers, kind of, but not really. And there's the Butcher that I've got, which, I mean, it still looks great. It looks awesome. They are quite, like, complicated models. Like, we can tell that straight away. There's a lot going on in terms of the armour. There's quite a lot in the way of, like, scraps of cloth, of spikes and horns and teeth and stuff. And I have to admit, I know people who will find these to be too busy. To be honest, though, I quite like it. I'm in a weird position with like busy models where sometimes I absolutely love them, I mean, sometimes they just don't do it for me. It depends very much on what the overall style is. If something just feels cluttered for the sake of being cluttered, I don't like it. Like, if it's something that is just, here's a suit of armour, but for some reason there's just stuff all over it, I don't tend to be that much of a fan. When it comes to stuff that's gone to like some sort of weird alternate dimension and have come back all twisted and weird, I'm kind of more okay with it, because it feels like something that has been corrupted as opposed to something that people just kept throwing stuff on, if that makes sense. It may not do. Let's face it, a lot of the stuff I say doesn't. But I do like these. The weapon designs are really nice. There's a nice bit of ornamentation going on there, but it's nice and consistent. It flows quite nicely. I do like the, I forget what they're called, like the leather straps that hang down the front of the legs. I know there's a specific name for that, but I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. And I don't really want to Google leather straps over crotch, because I don't know what that's going to give me. I don't know what it's going to give me, and I feel like it's going to be bad, and I'm going to regret it, so I'm not going to do that. The chain axes, the chain swords look nice. The power packs are pretty cool. I do like the I get like quite a strong Night Lords feel off the power packs on the back there, which is not a bad thing. They've got a good aesthetic going on, the Night Lords have, so I do like that. The helmets are nice too. I do like the helmets a lot. I felt like you could get away with a nice kind of fleshy colour for the helmet, with the horns going into like a bone colour. That would look kind of cool. Yeah, they look decent. So that's the Azalian Executioners. Then we've got this lot. This is the Veil Touch Kingslayer, by the way, is a ridiculous model. Like, I love it. The big wheel on the back, I'm a fan of that anyway, because a significant number of the conversions that I've done for D&D stuff, for a Warforged character that I've got, I've used like a big wheel on the back of the thing as like some sort of mystic power source, like a kind of rune carved thing. That just reminds me of something that I already did, and I'm like, I've conditioned myself to just like that as a look, so I really like it. Yeah, I like that a lot. The things like the scraps of cloth going over the power packs, I like that. I kind of wish that was more of a thing. It just, I don't know, it just adds something to them. It makes them look more like scavenger-esque, I guess, I think is the best way to put it. It looks a bit more fantasy in places than sci-fi. I think there's quite a solid mix of the two. Obviously, like, powered armour feels very sci-fi, which this is, but having, like, scraps of cloth and furs and stuff, it kind of adds an extra something to it. I mean, there's, like, a big list of influences that Dave has put up for these. The show Vikings being among them. I think, well, it says Vikings. I'm not sure whether we're talking just Vikings as a whole or the show specifically in terms of the visual representation, but I can see that in some of these models, which I like. Now, these don't feel quite as busy to me as the Marauders did. I feel like these guys, what look like your kind of standard line troops, the armor is a bit less complex. There's a bit less going on. Although it could simply be that because they're holding guns as opposed to two weapons, that is kind of making them, like, visually just a bit cleaner overall. I do really like the style of the armour, though. I do like it a lot. It looks good. I feel like these kind of feel like they look difficult to paint, but I don't know that they actually would be. To be totally honest with you, I don't know that they would be. I feel like if you've got an airbrush and you're happy to do a bit of dry brushing, you could get a decent result on these without having to go totally overboard. So these are the Veil Touch Commandos. The Veil Touch Harbinger looks really good as well. I do like the big wheel that goes on. I like the kind of detail of it. The spokes of it are like curved and, I don't know, interesting. And again, Woman Warrior, loving it. Yes, more of that. More of that, please. So there's the Enforcers. There's the Butcher that I've got, which I'm looking forward to messing with. We've got the Flag Bearer as well. The flags, they're like the big standards. They're nice. I like the cloth on them. They look really, really like ripped in the right places, but clean enough that you could do something fun with them. So that's nice. And it looks like we've got pistols and axes / swords. A couple of them with the both the melee options out. The poses are pretty good as well. I do like the poses. I like a good mix. A good mix of pose is what I want from this kind of thing. And they do have a good mix of pose. Yeah, there's some nice stuff. So that's the cleavers. And then we've got this lot. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. So Lady Maxima and a bunch of power-armoured women who are all messed about by some sort of veil corruption. Yes. Yes, inject it directly into my veins. The extra cloth, the like half robe that is going down over the legs, is such a nice touch for these. I really, really like this. I really like it. Looks great. There's a nice kind of differentiation there between these and the previous ones. So if we take a look at these, yeah, there is something coming down over the legs on these ones, but it's nowhere near as like... It's nowhere near as prominent as on these models, and I really, really like the difference there. I really like the difference. These look fantastic. These look great. No complaints about these whatsoever. Absolutely love them. Oh, they look so good. So those are Veil-Touched Headhunters. The overall is Veil-Touched Valkyries. Okay. Oh, they look great. They look great. So, it's not just that, though. It's not just that. We're like, what, a third of the way down the page? Mad. There's also the Elite Pack. So, it looks more like kind of special weapons for these guys. The weapon designs are nice. I do like the weapon designs. So, effectively, it looks like we've got, like, Combi Melter equivalents on these guys. Really? I mean, when I'm looking at these, and this is a, you know, Chaos Space Marine close combat squad. Like, that's just, you could run these as that with absolutely no alterations to them whatsoever. The ones that we looked at further up, the Enforcers, they could just be standard troops, like standard Chaos Space Marines. I mean, they are going to proxy in super nicely. I reckon you could probably, I mean, with these guys having the special weapons, you could absolutely do an entire Chaos Space Marine army with these, which of course is no doubt what was intended when it comes to the design of these. I mean, Dave is a big chaos man. He's got the taste. He's got the good taste, you see. So that was just one war pack. Okay? So it's like, yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot going on. And yeah, you're pretty much set to have a really, really significant number of models when you if you back this, to be honest. So we also have the Domineering war pack as well. I was really not sure how to pronounce that bit. So this time there's Lord Davicus the Corrupted. So we've got a nice bit of flesh and stuff grown over the armour. The face is like really warped, which looks really good. I do like the hand that's kind of grown into a bunch of horns and flesh, and there's an eye in there. I'm kind of getting I'm getting kind of like Soul Calibur Nightmare vibes off that, to be honest. I quite like that. Yeah, that's cool. More badass women with giant hammers. Love it. That is an evil weapon on the Domineering Rib Ripper. What the heck? So, oh my god. So it's a glaive that's also a flamethrower. I'm in. 100% in. Yep, that's fine. Good number of two-handed weapons. These look more human, more like cultist proxies. So we've got Skullbreakers, which are the ones with the two-handed weapons, and then we've got Sentries, which are the ones with the guns, and those are the Domineering Unbroken. I keep wanting to say Dominion. Dave, you've picked a name there that is that is absolutely setting off all my I can't pronounce what Games Workshop calls things alarms. But we'll soldier on. Zarya the Chosen as well. Oh, there's band across the eyes so they can't see. Yep, I don't know why. When it comes to models, that is a trope I really like. I like the thing of them not being able to see. I don't know why. It makes no sense. Why would that be a positive? I don't know. Why do I really like it when I see that on models? I don't know that either. But I like it a lot. It looks cool. Feels like there's a lot more kind of spiky teeth sort of things going on with these as well. Like those kind of shield / symbols on the back. They look a lot more like primitive. Quite a few of these look considerably like fantasy based as well. Like if you take the guns off a couple of them, they do look really quite fantasy based, which is nice. So we've got the Emissaries, which have got like a kind of spear with like almost like a flag wrapped around them, which is nice. And the Fanatics with 2 weapons, dual wielding for the win. So that's the Cult of the Veil. Okay, they look great. Oh yes, okay. So we're into like heavy weapon / havoc territory here, and I am 100% in for this. That gun on the left, that's mental. I don't know what the inspiration for that is, but I love it. The massive that massive ammo drum towards the front of the weapon. I don't know why I like that so much. I don't know why I like that so much, but I really do. Does it make sense? I don't know. I don't make weapons. I'm not an armourer. I don't have any experience of this sort of thing. All I know is that looks cool. I'm sure there will be some of you who will be sitting there going, no, it doesn't. That's fine. We can all have our different opinions. It's all good. Don't mind. But to me, that's badass. I don't know why, but it really is. And I had to go down a little bit because I really wanted to see like that, all like the sinew and skin that's kind of growing off the power cable onto the weapon. That's really grim. I like it a lot. The Flamesmith looks quality. Again, he's got the wheel on the back, so I'm happy. Yeah, I really like these. I really like these. I really like the weapon designs. The weapon designs are grand. They look really like thick and heavy set. There's some girth. There's some girth on these lads. So there's the Veil-Touched Venerathias and Veil-Touched Abaters. Either way, I'm liking those a lot. I mean, just on the surface of it, it looks like the body of the weapons are the same and you can swap out the ends by the look of it. I think that's how that works. Yeah, I think so. Those look great though. I really like those. So those are the Azalian Goretti then. We've got more. We've got another Rib Ripper, a Scourgebringer. I'm getting kind of House Escher vibes off the Scourgebringer, to be honest. The skull in the little basket off that lass is grim as anything. It's got like a little handle. What the hell? Ugh, nice. So yeah, more cultist style women here. Lightly armoured, no power pack. They've kept the boots pretty much the same across the entire lot though, which is nice. So yeah, there's the Emissaries and Sentries, which look like they've got the two-handed guns instead of like pistols. Rifles? I don't really know what to call them because they're not really like. Would you call that a rifle? Whatever. It's extra complicated because there's a nice bit of almost like what gun am I thinking of? What game? I'm thinking of it. There's a Remnant. That's it. It's like a sort of Souls-like game, but you use guns instead. And I'm getting like Remnant vibes off these guns that have got the skulls resting on top of the barrel with the bandages wrapped around them. I'm kind of getting that feel off them. The masks on the sentries look great as well. The masks on the sentries look really good. Combined with the hoods, I mean, I do like them in general, but they combined with the hoods, they're just that much nicer. So there's the Servants of Azalea, and then we've got more of the heavy weapons guys. So we've got Tank Slayers, so similar dudes, but with missile launchers and las cannon equivalent by the look of it. Not just las cannon equivalent, but they're holding it on the shoulder. Love it. Excellent. Love it. So neutralizers for that case. Now, we've also got the Veil-Scarred Abominations, which are golems and Mitads? Sure. I mean, to be honest, I'm in no position to criticise anyone else's name choices. You should see some of the stuff that I call NPCs in D&D. The party will ask for the name, I'll give them the name, and they'll all look at me and go, alright, and how are you spelling that? Because it's never what it sounds like. It's never that way. The lad with the rhino horn, I quite like, but I have to admit I prefer... So, the golem with the kind of lizardy, dinosaur-y face and the rhino horn, I quite like that. But I think I prefer the Mitad instead. Just because of the big armour plate over the top of the head. I don't know, that feels kind of Doom-esque to me, which I like. So the thing is with this, is that Dave and I have fairly similar tastes when it comes to chaos stuff. And by the look of it, fairly similar taste when it comes to, like, TV, film, sci-fi, all of that. And he's used all of that stuff as inspiration for these models. Like, he's used all the things that he likes as jumping off points for certain details and bits of armour and weapons and all that sort of thing. So it's basically like someone has sat down and made the thing that I probably would make if I had the chance to make it. Which makes it, like, it's just very difficult not to look at these and go, I really like this, because I keep identifying bits of stuff that look inspired by, like, media and stuff that I already enjoy, but someone's taken it and put it into like kind of smushed it into a coherent model, which it's difficult not to like that, and I suspect that is going to be a big portion as to why this reached the goal immediately, and why it will probably do exceptionally well by the time the campaign's done. I imagine there's going to be a lot of people who are like, oh look, it's all these different things I enjoy, but in one box. Awesome. So for this one, it is the Armoured Carnage War Pack. Solid. Bit lighter on the models, but there is... I see, yes, there is a tank. There's a full-on tank in here. The Blockade Breaker. Oh, Convoy as well. Interesting. So we've got Lord Emirath. That is a massive gun. Loving his work. Again, good helmet. Good helmet. Yeah, that's a chunky lad. And we've got Azalian Blood Spillers as well, which look distinctly Terminator-esque, I think it's fair to say. Same kind of hunched back, armour over the top of the neck. The integration of the kind of... I'm trying really hard not to call it Chaos Chaos Symbol or Chaos Star. Like the Wheel of Delight that's going over the sides there. I really like the integration of that on that model. That looks really cool. So yeah, we've got a significant number of horns on these boys. They do look good. I have to say the scale, them being like chunkier, them being bigger, makes the armour look a lot less busy than it does on some of the smaller models. Now, I don't mind how busy the armour is on these. It's just kind of hitting the right spot for me personally. I think these are definitely benefiting from being slightly larger though. These look really good. These look really good. I love that pose. The one that's like striding forward with the definitely not a power fist kind of outreached. I like that a lot. That's a great pose. Also, they're being like, I don't know, it feels like the back of the armour is almost like smooth. Like I know it's got like detail on there and kind of engravings on it, but I just quite like the silhouette of that guy. That looks really good. So those are Death Chasers. And that little unit is the first Slayers. And then we've got Inaro Black. And we've got pretty much... I mean, Inaro Black is a great name. Also, Quality Hammer. And, yeah, Hammer and Shield Terminators there, basically. Pulverizers. Excellent name. I'll give you that. That's a good name. Yeah, I like the shields as well. The shields look cool. I kind of like that layered, almost interlocking look. And that lot of blacked gavels. That's... I mean, hats off. That's a good name. That's a good name. Then we have a Blood Spiller along with Lightning Claw variations or Eviscerators. Gotta have one with the come at me bro stance. That's if you ever build any sort of Lightning Claw-esque style Terminator unit, you've gotta have one doing the come at me bro pose. Otherwise, what's the point? So those are the Veil Touched Vukovi? Look, don't come after me. It's not my fault. Oh, the tank looks interesting. Okay, cool. So we've got two sets of smaller treads. Got an option of I know you said a plough. That's not the right name. Like a kind of dozer blade or a bunch of spikes. I do like these. I do like them. I will say, I think I prefer just a standard like track layout for tanks. It's very much just a me thing now, but I always find that I just prefer one set of treads. That's my sort of preference for sure. There's also the Armoured Transport Elite Pack, the Blockade Breaker. I'd be really interested to see how easy these are to mess with, like to kit bash and convert and stuff. Oh man, I'd be really interested to see. Anyway, enough musing. Horrors of the Veil War Pack. See, but like, there's so much, guys. It's unreal. Like, how busy have they been? How they had time for, and like, if they'd slept at any point in the last however many months? Like, does someone want to check on them, send them a pizza or something? Christ, there's just so many models. It's crazy. Anyway, so the Horrors of the Veil. We've got Lord Tyrak and Breacher, and Azalian Dread Terror. Yajara, we'll find out what that is. Hang on. Yajara, the Shepherd of the Damned. Wretched Soros, Wretched Sprites, and an Azalian Devourer. So this, I'm assuming, is Lord Triarch and Breacher. That's nasty looking. The big blade on the tail, and the tail having like the kind of mechanical component coming through, but the flesh is growing over the top. That is gross. I like it a lot. The armour on the big thing, on the Breacher, that is reminding me, weirdly, of the shoulder plate off Radikar the Beast. Yeah, Radikar the Beast. The big version of Radikar, not the one from Curse City, the one that you run as an HQ, part of the Vikos dynasty. If you don't play Age of Sigmar, none of that's going to mean anything to you, sorry. But like, he's got a very specific bit of armour that I really like, and this whole Breacher looks like that. So I'm kind of inclined to, like the layered armour look. I'm getting kind of, sort of, Forge Fiend, Mauler Fiend style feelings from this, but the tail is extremely gross. I do like it. Lord Triarch looks good, but he's a little bit lost on top of it. I feel like once it's painted, it would be easier to make him out. But that's a horrific beastie. Good work. Then we've got, definitely not a Demon Prince, the Dread Terror. Totally not a Bloodthirster style Demon Prince at that. One big arm that's made out of actual teeth. Is that mechanized or is that... Nope, I think that's just a big, like, bone saw. Literally made of bone. Nice big claw on the other hand. Very reminiscent of the Sylvaneth Tree Lord hand, actually. I'd say that because there is one on the desk directly in front of me. So that's where that comparison's come from. I just looked at it and went, oh yeah, it looks kind of like that. Yeah, that's quite nice. I have to admit, I would like the wings to be bigger. I'd like the wings to be bigger on this guy. He's super heavy armoured. I love the fact that he's super, like, really heavily armoured. That's cool. When it comes to sci-fi Demon Prince / Greater Demon style things, honestly, I love them to be heavy armoured as opposed to just flesh, but it still looks good. It still looks really decent. Properly evil face as well. Nice. So we also have, here we go, Yajara, Shepherd of the Damned. I got it that time. I got it. I managed it. It's fine. Again, I do like the armour. The armour and the skin looks cool. I do wish the wings were just a little bit bigger, though. Just a bit. Just a bit bigger. That's a great weapon, though. That's an awesome glaive. It looks like it's weighted on the other end, which is nice. It's kind of a cool touch. That hand being like a bunch of overgrown bone and stuff is nasty and cool. The helmet really reminds me of something, but I'm not sure what. What does that remind me of? The helmet is really bugging me. Oh, what's his name? Steppenwolf. The first Steppenwolf from the version of that film that came out before the 4-hour version that came out like 5 years later, whatever it was. Kind of getting that sort of feel off it. That looks nasty though. Unsettling. Unsettling in a good way. Oh wow, okay. Elda Soros Sprite. And these are the other Soros Sprites by the look of it. So, possessed. But actually creepy, disturbing, possessed. See, this is just what I want possessed to look like. So they've been overtaken by uncontrollable, creepy, weird mutations. Not, like, been taken on a trip to Goof Town. These look great. These look really good. These look... Oh, the eyeball? The big eyeball sticking out instead of a head? Hell yes. Hell yes. Sign me up right now. Yeah, look, there's all like tentacles and weird crab claws coming out. The guys whose faces are like... all the flesh has disappeared and there's just bone. And these are solid. These are great. I love them. I love the Soros Sprites. They're fantastic. Hell yes. A wretched Sorrow box. Okay. And, yeah, there we go. Got Elder Soros Sprite again. Are these the same? Hang on a sec. There's subtle differences here. So different arms, I suspect? Yes, alright. So he's got a long arm with like a bunch of stuff coming out of the hand that's also another hand, but a tentacle. That was a weird sentence. I feel like the big eyeball guys are slightly different as well. Are they not? Yeah, they are. Okay. So like variations of those. What the hell? So that is like a big... He's got like a big pincer that's also a beak, but with like teeth bits, with smaller bits inside and what looks like an eyeball in the middle of it. That's gross. I mean, I love it, but awful. Yeah, I like these a lot. I like these are fantastic. These are great. 10 out of 10 for the Soros Sprites. 100%. 10 out of 10 for that. Ah, okay. So then we've got the Breacher, but not the Breacher. So that's the Devourer, which is distinctly Mauler Fiend. Distinctly. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I like the base model and the addition of some tentacles with spikes on. I can't really complain about that, can you? I suppose it depends on what you're into, but I'm not going to complain. So, in terms of sizes, funnily enough, They match what you would expect for the most popular sci-fi wargame that currently exists, which should come as a shock to nobody, given that, you know, there's clearly some inspiration going on here and there. But they do look solid. They do look good. Oh, yeah. I mean, I overall, I really like this lot. I really do. Also, a nice example of one painted, which, to be honest, I mean, when you look at the renders, I think it's easy to look at them and go, oh, that's... I think it's easy to look and go, maybe it's too complicated, but actually, with paint on it, you can see it's actually really not that extreme. It's not that over the top. I mean, that's a good-looking lad. That is a good-looking lad. That's a better-looking lad, let's be honest. Much better-looking lad there. That looks great. This is what I mean, though. This is what I mean about doing a bit of dry brushing. See, if you wanted to do them all black and just get a bit of silver dry brush over all the raised edges, only pick up a couple of details in gold, I mean, it would look fantastic. I mean, they've done more than this. So who painted this Lord Davicus? So that was... I'm going to mispronounce that so bad. I mean, I'm assuming if it's Da Vinci, it would be Jose instead of Josie. Like, I'm assuming. I'm so sorry. Mr. Da Vinci, I apologise. Obviously, it'd be quite a lot of work to get it to this standard, but I feel like you could get a good result out of these with, like, not really... I don't think you would have to sit there and pick out every single thing individually, you know, like with extreme, like, magnifying glass up close. I have to make sure every single little thing is perfect for this model to look good. I don't think you would need to do that. I think actually the added detail means that if you were careful with a bit of dry brushing, a bit of edge highlighting, you could actually get something really quite nice out of them. So just before I exported this video, these became free. So these are the Heralds of Strak Elite Pack, and you've got Nikorin Kel, Posla Previs, and Yajara. I'm sure I got all of that totally wrong, but more models that are now free if you back during the campaign, which is awesome. Kel with his weird winged backpack looks awesome. That is a creepy, not Crozius that he's got going on. I love the eyeball in the centre. All the tentacles coming out of the base. It's just gross. Excellent work. Love it. Posla Previs? Look, the one holding the skull with the horn coming out of it, with what looks like tentacles coming out of her as well. I mean, she looks really messed up. I do like the kind of gas mask rebreather on the bottom. Also, that nice bit of kind of detail on the armour coming down across, like, from the midriff between the legs. There's some interesting shapes there. That looks kind of cool. And Yajara got like a lamp with either fire or baby tentacles coming out. I'm choosing to say they're baby tentacles, and I would absolutely paint them as baby tentacles. That's what I'd do. She is preparing to ponder the orb as well. And Kel has got his own flaming orb he can ponder. But yeah, she's got a plain orb to ponder. Yeah, I quite like these. They look decent. So there we go. An absolute shedload of models from MiniWarGaming. I like them. They are quite busy. There is a lot going on in some cases, but I think it fits what they are and the story behind them. I also don't think it's that much of a hindrance in terms of getting a good result out of them when it comes to painting. I think if you're not a fan of doing loads of trim, you don't necessarily need to with these. I think there's a few techniques you could apply to them which would make them look pretty damn good without having to, you know, absolutely sit there for hours and hours upon end going into really fine detail on every model. I love the Valkyries. The Valkyries are fantastic. So are the Soros Sprites. I want loads of them. I would run an entire army of those Valkyrie models because they just look great. They're what I want. They're what I want. But question is, what do you reckon? There's going to be a link in the description for the campaign to check it out if you'd like to. It's a link from me, so, you know, don't embarrass me. I'm perfectly capable of doing that to myself. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. In the meantime, feel free to click all the things, Patreon, video, subscribe, all that stuff. Click it if you like, don't click if you don't want to. And as always, there's an affiliate link in the description for Element Games, which you can use to support the channel if you'd like. I leave it in your capable hands. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.